It's been a while since I've had the rudder and vertical stabilizer out. We have a fiberglass tip here and one here. Gotta mate them up, gotta create some fiberglass additions to those, fair them, smooth them out, fill them, get them ready to rivet on, and I'll probably take it just to that step, short of actually riveting them to the tips. Here we go. Well, this nightmare's really coming back to me. I forgot just how hard it is to get all these rod end bearings adjusted just perfect. And I don't think I left them just perfect. So I made some adjustments. Then I realized I may have over adjusted. And despite my cool little tool here, I still keep dropping these bolts. So I've gone ahead and just attached them with some string to the vertical stabilizer so that when I do drop them, I don't have to fish my fingers down in there, I can just pull them back up. Like this. Got the rudder in. It moves pretty effortlessly through its range of motions. That was a bit of doing, but we got it. Now I'm going to take a look and see how these fiberglass pieces fit. I have three main pieces of fiberglass for the vertical stabilizer and rudder. The first two are the top of the vertical stabilizer, the top of the rudder, and the bottom of the rudder. I'm going to set this aside for now. There's a lot more work that goes into this. I'm going to focus on these two pieces and getting them to match up and fit just like we did the elevator and stabilizer pieces. So right off the bat we have some adjustments to get these pieces to fit. First, there's a strip that runs here that's interfering with the back of this. So the tip here is going to get cut out right there. The second part that I can see right off the bat comes with this piece. And if we get this in here, it's a little long. And we definitely don't want it long. If anything, we want it a little bit short. So marking that, we're going to cut right about there to start all the way around. Then hopefully these two pieces will at least fit on a trial basis so that we can see where else we need to make adjustments. The next part is very similar to the elevators as well. In here there's a rib that's been fluted in order to straighten it long ago. But that fluting is bumping up against this. So this all needs to be shortened just to the end of that. Turns out it's about 1/8 of an inch all the way down this piece that needs to come off. So I'm going to measure that out and do it now. So just like the elevator tips, I left it just a hair long. I'm going to throw a piece of sandpaper down there on an empty table and then just sand it the rest of the way, get it nice and flat, and I can slowly take it to where I want it. I want to get it as long as I possibly can without hitting that rib in there. Friendly reminder, unlike me, wear safety glasses when doing this stuff. I'm not impressed with the initial fit of this. In fact, it's pretty bad. I'm going to do what I always do and take a look at the plans, take a look at the instructions, and take a look at the internet. Alright, I've done my research, as much as I can anyways. And from what I can tell, the problem is not unique to me or my plane. There's others that are battling this too. And so once again, the issue here is that there's some discontinuity between this line here and this line here. What have we seen? Some people have actually kind of lifted this up. Problem is down here, I don't know if you can see, but we're already near the edge of that piece, and I fear that it leaves too little meat between the edge of the rivet and the rivet hole. We might build this up a little bit with filler of one sort or another. I have started getting these pieces to mate. You can tell it looks like probably good down here, needs some adjustment up there. So I'm going to continue to sand and fit these pieces as best I can. There. I'm going to go ahead and let that sit. That should create a nice flat piece of fiberglass. And then again, we can reinforce it from the back side. I think this is going to be really cool. Let's see if this worked. Not bad. All right, so what we have is the first layer of fiberglass covering this. Last time I put on 4 layers, which built it out that way, so much so I was concerned with it interfering with the control surface that moves like this. This time, closer to what the instructions recommend, I just did 1 layer, which is really surprisingly thin, but that's okay because I am now going to go ahead and laminate probably 3 more layers on the inside of this, folding it up along the edge, which will help tie everything together and it'll make for a stronger piece. That's it. All right, let's see if it worked again. I wasn't really concerned this time. All right, well, there it is. A little messy inside, but overall it's not too bad. Here's the important part, nice and strong. What gives? Last time you saw this piece, it had fiberglass everywhere. But I didn't like it, and so I cut it out. And I did so pretty quickly and off camera, because I was a little frustrated. I was just going to take it back up, get fiberglass on it, pretend like nothing happened. And then I realized I was probably skipping some important information. Why didn't I like it? Again, those control surfaces were too close. And last time I fought that and I had to sand down and build back on the backside. I want to just do it right from the first time. And at risk of somebody saying, yeah, he made another mistake, or maybe you should have bought an easier plane, I figured I would finish up on videotape and just say, you know what, it's worth doing right. I've spent this much time on these pieces. I'm gonna get it right. So we cut it out, and I am shaping this piece a little more aggressively. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit bigger clearances. We'll get it right. So now I'm going to turn my attention to this, and the first thing we got to do is get it to fit in here well enough to drill the holes for the clecos. Now I like it when the tip down here is nice and snug. However, when I have that there's a bigger gap up towards the tip. The forward tip. And when I push the forward tip down, that pops out just a little bit, which tells me if it can rock like that, that somewhere in here there's a high spot and we're sort of rocking on it. So what I've done is I've set this to the same depth that I have inside here. And then I can slide it along and see where the fit should be good and where the fit is high. So that little gap there likely means I need to come down about that much, and that's probably what is creating that rock. Now if we go back towards the front, it goes back down a little bit. So I'm going to sand this down wherever my little gauge shows it's high, and then hopefully we can get this piece to fit. From there, we should be able to drill our holes at our clecos. That'll pull the fiberglass up against the sheet metal as good as it's gonna get. And from there, we can see where we might need some filler. While I build this stand for the rudder, why don't you go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the video. And if you could, drop me a comment. Let me know what you're working on or what you think of my project so far. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks! I stood the thing up vertically like it's going to sit on the plane. It also makes it much easier to work on all the pieces at once rather than one side or the other. I'm going to get some holes drilled here and get some clecos in there, that way it's not moving around, and then start spreading Bondo all over this. If we stretch sort of a bendable, I have this piece of brass here, bendable line on these, that's kind of what I would think of as a fair line from the vertical stabilizer to the rudder. And you can see this dip here that I'm going to address either in part or in whole. Get it a little closer to fair. I don't know that we'll get it perfect, but I am certainly going to address it a little bit. Some of these are final size, some are not. And I'm going to strategically get them to final size when it suits me. The first coat looks fantastic. There's a few little blemishes as to be expected. I'm gonna go ahead and get to sanding. Man, this thing is smooth. I think it's ready for that last coat of primer. I might hold off until I get some of this other caught back up a little bit. Just a little bit left here. Really excited to sand these today. Now that is a good fit. So excited to do some more sanding. Should be cleaning. We're almost there though. I got them sanded, I got them wiped down. Now we're gonna give them a coat of primer. This is the final primer. We'll see how they look afterwards. Hopefully it is truly the final primer. I think that's it for these pieces. It's really tempting to get them riveted on. I think I'm gonna wind up regretting it, knowing that they just have to be stored and I can't detach them if I'm worried about damage. So for now, we'll leave them unattached. They're just resting in there now, but they look fantastic. Really happy with how they turned out. Now it's time to flip the whole thing upside down and work on the bottom end of the rudder, the light that goes in there, the fiberglass fairing, all that fun stuff. But we're gonna wait till another time on Ryan Flies.